Hello everyone. In the last class we have discussed about the climate, what are the factors it depends upon. So today we'll be discussing the next topic, which is related to the climatic condition of a particular region and the different types of living organisms that live in that region. How do they survive in those climatic conditions? All these things we'll be discussing today in the topic called climate and adaptation. Now, adaptation means the procedures or the ways of how a living organism adjust themselves with their surroundings. By surroundings, we not only mean the physical terrains or the features of that area or the plants or other living organisms living around, as well as we'll be dealing with the climatic conditions. How in a particular climatic condition a living organism adjusts themselves or adapts themselves in order to survive over that particular region. So these things we'll be discussing today. So climate has a profound effect on all living organisms. So obviously this is very clear that climate has a very vital, it plays a very vital role on all living organisms mainly for their survival. A living organism which is very much adjustable or adaptable to a particular region can survive only in that particular region under that particular climatic condition. Now, animals are adapted to survive in the conditions in which they live. This is what I just said a while ago, that animals adapt themselves to survive in that particular climatic condition and particular geographical region. We cannot say that that particular animal would survive in all kinds of climatic condition or in all kinds of geographical condition. No, there is some we can say features that helps them to survive in a such particular condition. So animals living in very cold or very hot climate must possess special features to protect themselves against the extreme cold or heat. So not all the places on earth are favorable climatic conditions. There are also some hostile environments which are very cold or very hot. So in those circumstances or in those places or regions, geographical regions, how do these animals survive themselves? It all depends upon their bodily structures or bodily features or their eating habits and all those things. How do they tackle those hostile climates? All this depends upon their adaptability. How do they adapt themselves with their surrounding? Depending upon that, their survival, you can say, level is determined. So there are some features and habits that helps the animals to adapt themselves to their surrounding and which are a result of the process of evolution. So we just can't say that if we can say place or put a animal or a living organism in a particular surrounding, it would survive as soon as we place it. No, it takes millions of years to the process of evolution that the animal learns to survive or adapt themselves in a particular habitat or in a particular surrounding. There are a lot of factors which depending upon which the animal or the living organism gradually develops themselves to adapt themselves with their surroundings, and it all depends upon their bodily features or the food habits, as I've said. So all these things takes time and it happens gradually through the process of evolution. For example, the climatic condition and the adaptation of animals living in polar regions and those living in tropical rainforest would be totally different. Yes, obviously, an animal or a living organism that lives in the polar regions, if we place them in the tropical rainforest circumstances, then in such a case, those living organisms won't be able to survive. So particular animals or particular living organisms survive only in a particular climatic condition and particular surrounding, depending upon their features and habits. So in this chapter also, we'll be discussing some of the different geographical regions and how the climatic condition is over there, or what living organisms live over there, what are their bodily features, how do they differ. All these things we'll be discussing in today's topic. So the first region that we'll be discussing today is the polar region. So we know there are two poles, the North Pole and the South Pole, and these polar regions are totally isolated from the rest of the geographical regions of the world. So these polar regions are mostly covered with snow, as we all know, and so it is very cold for most parts of the year. Now for 6 months the sun does not set at the poles, while for the other 6 months the sun does not rise, which is mainly caused due to the tilt of the Earth's axis. So as we know, the Earth's axis is a little bit tilted. It's not straight completely, it's a little bit bent, around 23.5 degree. At the, you can see here it's all given, 66.5 degree north at the Arctic Circle, then 66.5 degree south at the Antarctic Circle. So we'll not be going to that latitude and longitude term. We'll be just discussing that what actually happens, why there is 6 months sun and 6 months night, or 6 months day and 6 months night at the poles. So if you see here, during the summer season, the North Pole, it is totally inclined near the sun. So as a result, the sun rays falls upon it, and since the day and night is determined by the rotation around the axis, so this region, even if the Earth rotates around its axis, this region, the sun remains as it is for around 6 months. So as a result, there is no night over there, it's completely day for 6 months. While on the other end, if you see the South Pole or in the Antarctic region, this remains in total darkness. So here 6 months there is night. Even though the Earth rotates, but it would rotate, but this portion remains in darkness, total complete darkness. Not even partial light falls upon, sunlight falls upon this region. So as a result, there is 6 months night. It happens during the summer. In the case of winter season, the case is totally different. Now here, the Arctic region or the North Pole region, it remains under night or total complete darkness. And this region is now towards the sun. So this region will be in total daylight condition for the 6 month time period. Now in winters, the temperatures can be as low as minus 37 degree. Yes, it's very cold over there. Minus 37 degree is really freezing temperature. Now animals living there have to adapt themselves to these severe conditions. Yes, obviously these conditions are not normal conditions, they are very severe conditions. So the animals also have to adapt themselves accordingly. Now the first animal that we'll be discussing is the polar bears. So these polar bears, how do they adapt themselves to this extreme hostile climatic condition? Let us see. Polar bears have white fur, so they are not easily visible in the snowy white background. If you see a polar bear, this is a polar bear, they are completely white in color. So they easily mix up with the or merge with the white snowy background. So they are not easily or clearly visible if they are at a very distant, far away. Now it protects them from their predators and also helps them to catching their prey. Yes, it has two benefits. The predators or the other carnivorous animals or their other predators can't see them very clearly in this snow. They can hide themselves, camouflage themselves in this snowy background. Also, this helps them to hunt because their prey won't be able to see them or detect them. So they can easily hunt their prey due to this camouflage white background, or due to their white fur, you can say, which easily camouflages or get merged with the snowy background. Now, to protect them from extreme cold, they have 2 thick layers of fur and also a layer of fat under their skin. So it's just like wearing a jacket. In jacket, inside there is another layer, and in the outer way there is another layer. So similar to that, they have 2 thick layers. In the outer it is completely fur, and inside the fur or inner layer is a thick layer of fat. So this helps to insulate their body heat. As a result, they don't feel cold in this harsh climatic condition. They are so well insulated that they have to move slowly and rest often to avoid getting overheat. Yes. Say for example, you are wearing a very thick jacket. It sometimes becomes so tight or so fluffy that you can't even move that quite easily. Your body movements are not that flexible. So as a result, they have to move slowly, otherwise their body temperature rises quickly as a result of this thick layer insulation. Insulation means this body heat doesn't escape from this thick fur and thick fat. So as a result, the heat is trapped inside. So it is well insulated, we say. Now polar bears are good swimmers and usually go for a swim to cool their bodies on warm days. Yes, when it is very warm out there, or when it is 6 months day over there, so then due to sunlight's heat they feel warm, and as a result, to cool themselves or to cool down their body temperature, they go for a swim, just like people do during summer season. So why do they do this? In order to cool down their body temperature. And from this we can also come to know that they are very good swimmers. Now polar bears have a wide and large paws which not only help themselves while swimming but also for walking with ease in snow. Yes, they have very huge or wide, you can say, paws. Paws means the bottom portion of the legs. So this not only helps them in swimming but also moving in the snow, because in the snow it's quite slippery, and if they have tiny legs then they can easily slip themselves off the snow. So as a result, they have huge paws or wide paws that helps them to easily keep their balance in snow. Now while swimming under the water, polar bears can close their nostrils and can remain underwater for long duration. Yes, they can close their nostrils, and as a result they can remain underwater for longer durations. Now polar bears have a strong sense of smell so that it can catch its prey for food. They have a very good smelling capacity, so they can smell their prey from a very far distant place, and accordingly they can locate their prey for food. So these are some of the, you can say, a table to quickly remember the different features or different adaptations of polar bears. This is directly from your textbook. You can read it out. So this way you can easily remember what are the different adaptations that can be seen in a polar bear, which helps them to survive in the harsh polar regions. So that's it for today. I hope you all have understood it. You can again go through your textbook, read it out for yourself, and see for yourself what are those adaptations, how do they help the polar bears. In the next class, we'll be discussing another type of adaptation of another living organism. So till then, thank you and have a nice day.